There you go. Please come to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we are on the second item, which is the roll call, and we'll call on our secretary, Alma.
Okay, Fleming,
Here.
Doriga,
Present.
Peters,
Here.
Priest,
Here.
Stottlemyre,
Here.
Hughes Grubbs here, Chehavitz.
Chehavitz, we will see. I'm hoping she will join us. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved by Jariga and supported by Stottlemyre that that the agenda as presented be approved. Any questions or comments before we take the vote? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. There are no dissenting votes and the agenda is approved. Item 4 is approval of last month's minutes that from the November board meeting. And you have them in your packet and you received them electronically in advance of the meeting, so.
I will move that the minutes be approved as written.
It's been moved by Priest and supported by
Hughes Grubbs.
Hughes Grubbs that the minutes be approved. If anybody has any comments or any corrections, this would be the time for them. Okay, we'll vote on the motion, which all those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. There are no dissenting votes and the minutes are approved. So now we are at the point of public comments. And we have already discussed that we might have a public introduction. Nicole? Is it Maria?
Dr. Maria, actually. Maria Jackson Smith, Dr. Maria Jackson Smith. I am a English professor. 21, almost 22 years
Really?
of experience teaching in higher education. I live in the area. I'm in Van Buren Township. My son just graduated from the high school and he just called me today and told me he finished his first semester at Eastern. Took his last final exam today. I have a daughter who actually dances for the high school dance team, but she's an 8th grader at McBride. So, and she dances down the street at PMP. So I'm in the community.
Lovely.
Yes, thank you. And it's nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. When we moved here, it was because my husband's an English professor. He was an English professor at EMU for years.
Okay.
Where are you?
Wayne County Community College.
I see.
Sometimes
Yeah,
I'm at this campus down the street.
He taught there too for a
Oh,
while,
okay.
so yeah.
Yeah, my
Those English professors, there's a special lot.
Yes, we are.
You work with Julie Kissel?
Julie and I were in the same doctoral cohort, PhD cohort at Eastern. So that's how we met each other. And she's a good friend of mine, actually.
Now she's on city council.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she's a good friend of the library too. And we're
Yeah.
glad that she talked to you about coming over and seeing us.
She
We
sure
appreciate
did.
it.
Good.
We appreciate meeting you. I hope you'll enjoy the meeting. And this is your official time to speak, but we don't really shush people too much. And on that, Rosemary, do you have anything the community wants to tell us?
Just that John already knows that Tractor Supply is going to be building at the corner of Sumter and Howell Road.
Sumter and Hall, across from the fire? Across from the fire.
Yeah.
They've announced that last,
There's one up on Michigan Avenue.
yeah, they did, that's a newer one.
A lot of men are very happy about that.
It's a cool store though. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Well, it
I
probably
went there
would
for
be,
tires for our little trailer that we bought and all kinds of stuff.
it'd be useful in that area for Sumter. A lot of people live tractors.
Right, it's a rural
Mm,
resident,
Well, good.
But it really has a lot of other stuff.
dog washing.
I know.
They let you wash your own dog.
Oh, well,
I was surprised because I didn't want to go. And then I thought, well, they do have stuff for women here.
Yeah.
well, that's good to know. It's good to know. Do you have any, have you heard anything about the vacancies for the hardware store and the drugstore?
That's one of the things they talked about at the meeting. They had a meeting of the 3 planning commissions for Belleville, Belleville. So they talked about a lot of things, but they're trying to, the city is trying to get CVS to sublet their building because they have a 5-year lease.
Oh,
And they're just happy
to
sitting
just
on
sit
it
there?
so that no other pharmacy will.
Oh, please.
But, the city's thinking of things and they think they can convince them to sublet it. We'll see.
That'd be a big.
But I don't know about the hardware.
You
store.
say we
They've had some people trying to buy it and so it'll go.
If it doesn't get sold to a drugstore, they should not mind, because it won't be competition.
Well, they won't have any, CVS won't have anything to say about what the hardware store does.
No, it shouldn't,
I mean,
yeah,
the
but the
CVS.
CVS, that
I
building,
mean,
the
they
bigger.
don't
building.
wanna do anything with it because they don't want any competition, right?
Right.
But if it's in the stipulation that they're not gonna put another drugstore in there, they should have no problem.
I
It's
think-
Sitting empty, it shouldn't be an option.
I think you should convey your concerns to a city council person.
Oh, I wonder that. who did that. You're right. Hi, Joy.
Hi, Joy, as predicted, Joy has joined us. That's all right, we've had public comments and we are joined by Maria Jackson Smith. The Jackson part, that's part of my family name.
Are you hyphenated?
I am. Well, good. We've had a very interesting little public comment discussion. Now, unless there's something else, we can move on to item 6, which is approving our meeting dates for 2024, which is the second Tuesday, the evening of the second Tuesday, just like we tend to do. Yeah,
Madam Chair, I went over each one of them on my calendar. They all work out perfectly. So I make the motion that we accept these as read.
well, okay, anybody support that?
I will support.
So it's moved by Juriga and supported by Priest that we accept these as read, which is a little different than moving them. Is there any difference in our effectiveness for your operation, Mary Jo?
I think it's fine.
All righty, then we have accepted these as read. Now we have library close dates, similar thing, we wanna approve or accept our library close dates for this year, and if there's any comment, now is the time. We did not have Easter as a day to be closed earlier because we never were opened on Sundays. I make a motion to approve the close dates. There's a motion to approve the close dates and it's supported by Stonemeyer. Any comments? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? I hear no nays, the ayes have it, and we have approved our close dates, our holiday dates for the coming year. So we're looking forward, this is the end of the year meeting and some of our planning for how we move along for next year, so that's the main business for today. And now in approving both of those documents, we're on to our committee, reports, and our committees have not been real active over the past month, I don't think, but we'll go through the list anyway. The building committee, Joy,
We did not meet, but Mary Jo may have some things. I see plumbing bills on, or sewer repair bills.
Like, or like.
Yeah. It's in the board report.
it's in the board report, there's some things about. And when we got the communications fixed, but we can talk about that in the director's report. But, excuse me.
And I could touch base really quick if you want right now. All of our analog phone lines are back in business. and functioning,
Yay,
so,
good.
we
That
had
was what, 3
the
months?
the tornado in end of August knocked
Yeah.
some things out for us, so we've been struggling trying to get things fixed, so. Even though most all of our communication is digital these days, we do still have some old fashioned copper lines, one for the elevator emergency phone, the fire emergency phone, and an old fashioned fax machine upstairs which works when sometimes the internet fax doesn't work that well for certain documents, so, yeah. So anyway, everything's all better. Dean has a new flagpole light fixture on order for us. He also purchased a spare piece of glass to have on hand in case something should happen to the other one. You know, with that we will be able to repair it much faster and easier, so that's underway. Yeah, we do have a couple little plumbing things that, we have a chronic issue at times at the branch where we just need to get the sewer line reamed out, so that happened. Same day that happened, we were having some issues with our hot water heater here. So the plumber went down to the branch and then he came up here and took care of that, and, you know,
There's Jerry,
a part for it, yeah,
yeah. he's
so,
a good old
so
guy.
everything's working right now.
Well, we'll have maintenance kind of
Yeah.
activities, but we are finally checking off our little details that we've had trailing from our work.
The more you got, the more you gotta maintain.
That's right. So thank you for the update on the building committee. Is there anything for bylaws?
No report.
No report. Finance, Tanya? No report.
We just received the draft audit,
Oh.
so that's underway. Not too much left to do with that, except, you know, for them to, a couple tiny little steps, but that should.
Have we had a
pretty soon,
chance to
so
look at it?
I just got it today, it's
Oh,
still in
so you
draft,
just got it.
still in draft form,
Okay.
but, at the next meeting, you guys will have that.
And you and, yeah, the finance committee will review it first?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Marketing. Alma? No report. We've had a great marketing of our building no matter what, because all the winter celebrations in this town, all the celebrations in this town happen outside our front door, so there we go. Pretty good marketing right there. Good thinking, Alma. Item E is the personnel committee, and the personnel committee does have something to say to
Yes.
us today.
You should have received your director evaluation. If not, you can get one from there. Go, and I hope you will complete this and get it back to us, because we have to look it over before the next meeting and write a report on it and present it to you next meeting. So is there anyone that did not get one? Okay.
I don't think I have.
You turn those in.
What,
already.
it was in the
Yeah.
email?
Yeah, it was in the email.
It was in the email, but we have printed
I
one.
have printed copies for anybody who would like one.
I would like a print.
We all want printed.
We don't want to do it at home. Why do you think?
Right. We don't want the paper makers.
Yeah. And then once we get all the,
You had it.
forms back, we'll have to meet Dan and Tanya and talk about it. Before the next meeting, but I don't know when that will be.
Our email said that you wanted them back by January
Yes.
second. And our
How we do
next
that.
meeting, I think, is January
That we
9th.
meet.
But you might, I don't know if you wanna.
If that week or.
Yeah,
Sometime
the
before
second
that.
is the week,
Sometime before the 9th.
yeah, the second is the week before the board meets.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys get a date together.
I will send an email and you can let me know.
So you're saying before the night?
Before the 9th, because we look at the, and talk about
Okay.
raise and stuff like that.
So that first
You'll
week,
set something up?
Yeah,
that first week in January, our personnel committee will be.
we'll meet.
missed.
Yes.
And I will try to make that meeting as well. Good, thank you. Policy committee, Dan, anything?
No report.
Okay. And we don't have any report from the art committee. Last meeting, we had the pleasure of Michelle's company, and I think we covered quite a bit with that. And I don't know, the next temporary exhibit starts in January or something. Anyway, it's not until the new year.
Is there any development with the
We haven't heard anything.
stolen thing?
Okey dokey, then we have finished our committee report. Oh, I remember when that used to take hours. So now we are to our accounts payable, which will require a motion. It requires review and so.
The most, well, I had one question.
You can move it and then get to the question.
I make a motion to approve accounts payable. I'm assuming.
We
that-
have a, wait a minute, we have
Yes, yes, yes.
we have a motion. Do we have a second on the motion?
Second.
Second. Tanya has seconded the motion. She's making it easy tonight for the record keeper. Now, Joy.
Well,
What
I was
is-
curious about the Metcom pens for $1,000.
Yes, we went
They're
we
great
through all of our
pens.
pens already, so we placed a new
Okay.
order for 1,000 pens per.
I was like,
Purple
oh,
and
there's
teal,
probably a
yeah.
bunch of other things, just like some of the TLN lines.
Yeah, no, we go through a lot of them, we hand them out at some of the events, so. Lake Fest,
Yeah.
Winterfest.
Yeah.
I got one and they're very good pens.
And people steal our pens, no
I've got about 10 of
no
them.
matter what we do, so.
You order.
They're walking, they're walking away with a cool pen and our advertising on it, so.
Yeah. They don't leak.
Any other questions?
Yes, I had one, the elevator, what was the problem with that?
That is just our standard quarterly maintenance.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. That's what I say every time we have a
That's
sign.
a lot of money.
Yeah, an
Yes.
elevator
I'll
is
say it
an
again.
expensive. I wonder about
Has
the
to happen
elevator.
every quarter. though.
Otis has a virtual monopoly, so.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, we went to the museum open, this is kind of a non sequitur. And they have this little eensy teensy elevator, which they showed me to because the stairs are rather treacherous over there.
Very steep.
I wonder if they got it, what do they have to spend to maintain that? It's like a little closet, the elevator opening. But anyway, it's been
It's probably
shocking to
lit.
me how much, yeah, it is
Yeah.
more like a lid. It's been shocking how much it costs to have a good functioning elevator. And there's a lot of maintenance, there's a lot to the elevator, but we gotta do it.
You do.
Is it quarterly or monthly?
Quarterly.
Quarterly.
And then if there's some problem and they have to come over here for out of addition to the quarterly, it's generally about the same.
We have
Seems
one
like that's
our
what-
building, and it
Yeah, less.
costs about 700 every quarter, and it's that you can't put a gurney in it. You can barely fit one of the larger riding wheelchairs,
Mhm.
so.
the Methodist Church has a problem with their elevator. They can't get it fixed. It's so old, they gotta try to make a part.
Oh,
So
wow.
food closet, we have to put it either on the dumbwaiter or carry food up the stairs, which is a hassle.
Yeah,
There's a
that
lot of
would
people.
be, that would be. Well, so now the library board has fully discussed elevators in the city of Belleville.
All of them, I think.
Columbia Court.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hear that, yeah. There's the-
Oh, no, that's very bad for Columbia Court.
Yeah, well, that would be difficult. If we are at the point of approving the accounts payable, I'm ready for us to do that.
So move it.
Oh, well, it's been moved. We're already moved and supported. We already have a properly made motion, so all we have to do is call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying nay. There are no opposing votes, so we have approved that we're spending up this money to keep ourselves going. Many really good things, our basic stuff, the Friends of the Belleville Library are always, us repaying them for what they raised is always a good thing on there. Anyway, this is the cost of being in business. And thank you, board, for moving that along, because now we get to have one of our best things. And that is that the Grand Marshal will tell us all about this. It's the first time we've ever got a chance. Yeah, you're doing so good.
I consulted with our adult services librarians regarding, Don Sherman's generous offer at our last meeting. Wanted to donate almost 1,000 of the automotives and race car type books. And, we basically are not able to accept his entire collection. We are willing to look at what he has and, potentially accept some of the titles. But we just really can't do the whole thing. I did actually, give him a couple of leads on some other, potentialities, one being the library at Henry Ford Museum, the Benson Ford Library. There's also a, automotive museum in Ypsilanti. So I gave them some contact information, for those two places. They might, if they can't accept this contribution, they might know of other people who would be able to. So I know he wanted to keep his collection together, so. And we talked about it, and I reiterated our desire, because he's a font of knowledge, to come to a program for us. I think it would be very interesting, so he's willing to do that for us. Yeah, Winterfest was a huge success. The kids enjoyed their cookies and hot cider at the library before the parade, and a visit from Santa Claus after the parade. So a good time was had by all. Our library staff marched as characters from the Christmas Carol, complete with the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. So they were all represented. I actually got to see the library entry into the parade this year from my position as Grand Marshal. So that's
From your
cool.
high
Yeah.
post.
And then I actually included an article. I wrote a little bit about it in my director's report, about our little active play area in the children's room. We had a farm market there for Harvest Fest. We have transformed that into the Belleville Bakery. I actually included a photo. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, and I included an article in here for you as well. This is such a simple thing, and it is so well used. And it's very impressive watching all of the things that something like this teaches. A lot of the soft skills, children having to interact with each other, children interacting with their parents or caregivers. So instead of a parent coming and letting their kids play while they're busy on their phone, they're basically actively interacting with their kids, on this. I have a math tutor who actually uses this to tutor their children and, addition and subtraction. Learning colors, shapes, so it's really a awesome thing, and you can kind of change it up and rotate different things so that you kind of keep it fresh. So this is just such a simple thing, but I have literally seen children in that room like race past the computers and go directly to this.
Grandkids were here for an hour on Sunday playing
Okay,
cookie selling.
okay, so yeah, they just have very active imaginations, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, I thought the article was really great, the play at the library, but I've also been able to observe, there's a lot of children's museums around, and now one of the bigger attractions in children's museums are these these kind of reenactment of either a grocery store or some area, and with the kind of checkout stuff, and they don't have the old fashioned cash register, because who has that? They have all this and these little credit card type things that they use, and they've been every place I've seen them. I saw the New Orleans Children's Museum especially. They're just really active with kids, and it is, they're talking about, some people have been talking about bringing back into the curriculum some of these day-to-day learning skills that people need to know how to conduct themselves in a store. And this, for real little kids, it's just a great thing, and they love it. They really love playing in those areas. I've seen them downstairs doing on ours, and this is a very adaptable piece of equipment. We can change it up seasons or whatever, and I think that it'll give a new lease for all the kids who like to play on it.
That, a veterinarian or a doctor, doing surgery on the dolls.
A lot of options.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I said, this was just something, it gives me great joy to watch them,
Yeah.
And it's just a really fascinating thing, yeah.
Scientist.
I didn't get a chance to read this parent perception of libraries yet. Did you, is there any survey results that hit you that?
Well, overwhelmingly, parents, grandparents, and guardians trust libraries to curate appropriate books and materials for their kids. They're 85% of parents report being satisfied or very satisfied with librarians.
Good.
So that's a nice affirmative article.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where the little bullet points cover much of it, and that's affirming to what we see every day in here.
We are conducting, we have interviews underway for our library assistant, part-time library assistant position. Also the part-time library manager position I talked about a little bit at the last meeting. It's very appropriate that we are hiring this person. We did have a fight on Friday in our parking lot. So I've been in contact with the schools about that, and we're trying to strategize some ways to prevent some of that in the future.
Was that just like a little fight, or was that like a group?
It was, I would have to say there were a lot of people that came to watch the fight, but that.
Were the police called?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
High schoolers.
Dispatch law.
High schoolers, there were quite a few police. I came down, I came down today and I looked at a lot of the footage that Mary Jo had. And it was kids, it went for quite a while. And our teen loft, which is a wonderful place, does overlook the parking lot. So clearly it looked like a number of kids started coming out of the building to, as the spectators to watch. But the police came not just from Belleville, but also from Van Buren Township and then finally the principal from the school came over here. The one positive thing I think I can say is that it has opened up the dialogue between the school and the library. The high school and the library, really, we do need to, I think we've talked about it a little bit before, and I want to talk about it some more later, that we need to kind of make it a little more seamless about our ability to serve that population. I'm so happy that we have such appreciative, that we have so many young people who really enjoy coming here. But with that, it also goes along some of these other issues, and this altercation the other day was a concern. But Mary Jo has, as she said, and while I was here, she was able to, I didn't hear the whole conversation, but she was interacting with the school principal, and we're just gonna have to do more of that, and with parents. We're gonna have to see how we can engage parents who know that their kids are over at the library. I was up here in the teen room talking to our staff, and I heard a kid pick up their phone. I'm in the library. So I think when they report that to their parents, it's all good, but the parents, we're gonna need some back and forth.
Is there any consequence for the kids? Or they get suspended?
I think they're also still working some things out about that, about who actually was involved and to what degree, so I think that's all something that they're still working out.
The
But
school
there will be
is,
consequences.
Well, I
So
mean,
they're looking
here
at
in the
there will be
library.
Oh, yes,
consequences here too.
So they looked at your footage,
They will be,
please.
yeah, they had actually much better, I mean, there were some people out in the parking lot filming it, so they've got
Better
much
footage
better
than,
footage than ours.
yeah.
So.
But there will be, and there's some consequences we've already been putting into place. That we've used here at the library, in terms of suspension and people that are banned from the library for certain periods of time as a consequence of behavior. And I think Mary Jo has been talking about adjusting some of our food practices as
Oh, I
well.
saw signs
We
everywhere.
put a temporary ban on fast food for a little while, just to kind of. Calm things
Fast
down
food
a
is
little bit,
riling
so.
them up.
Well, it's just,
It's messy.
want to be slightly less of a food court.
And more of a library.
Library right now, so.
You know, we are really pleased to have our library as a place that kids like to gather. But the more that it seems like a party every afternoon, may be a problem. So perhaps adjusting this food, because we have had kids they bring in big pizzas, they bring in
Oh, my goodness.
and the teen room. The other thing I would say on this topic, I was gonna say it later, but I'll say it now. I think there's a role for us all to play. I have been coming down, I tend to come in the afternoon, that's just because I'm a late type person. But after school hours, that's the really most important time in here. And those of you whose jobs or lifestyle would allow it, just to come through the library, another adult walking through, another set of eyes that can help our staff and help Mary Jo with what we're observing. And generally, it's very positive. And even sometimes, even when it's boisterous, it's fun. But sometimes
Good loud noise or bad loud noise?
Yeah. Right. So
I found the kids in
There
high
are a
school,
lot of really good kids that come, I mean, it's not.
I found them very polite,
Oh, yeah.
hold the door for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I
thank you
get
for-
that quite a bit.
yeah, very
And
polite.
And the study rooms are being used, and the study rooms are often used by young people. It's young people really studying and working in there. So it's gratifying to see our library used as we have envisioned it.
Did they have any idea what started the fight?
Probably started at the high school,
No, well,
verbally.
About half of
Yeah,
our fights were social media related.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with the library
So
or.
there were just
No,
like
yeah,
two
that-
people fighting or more than that?
I think there were more people that got drawn into it, but I think. there were
Originally
probably-
it started with
Yeah.
two girls.
Glad it started outside.
They
Yeah.
probably don't want to have a fight on campus
If you're
because they
gonna
could
have
be suspended there on private property like this, is a
Right.
different story.
But now that the principal came out, they probably can.
Right.
So,
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Is there an open line of communication between the library and the?
That it is opening at
Yeah.
this point. I think that that would be an improvement in the situation, and we haven't had as much of that, you know, as, it was something we've been thinking about and talking about quite a bit. Like I said, if there is any upside to this
school-
issue, it has sped up the interaction. Joy?
A high school average, with, at least when my grandson was in high school, I would see the advertisements of the libraries. Events and there was like something that the library sent to the high school that got put in the parent newsletter about behavior at the
Yeah, I've done that.
library, and so I know that they're very receptive.
No, they're good to work with,
Yeah.
so, and,
Yeah.
you know, teenagers are teenagers for a reason, I mean, they're,
Yeah.
you know, do you remember back when you were a
We
teenager?
were there once.
Impulse control
The-
isn't
the
their
high
highest
school-
asset.
The high school has their own problems they have to take care of.
yeah.
And this is a library problem. I think we have to solve this at the library.
Which we're working on, so.
But also with some communication and cooperation.
You anticipated things like this, though, you know. we
Yeah.
have our
We have a policy in
procedures, we
place,
have
and so,
policies,
yeah,
and
they-
it's not like we're blindsided by
They
it.
will be banned, and
Right.
for a period of time that
Mhm.
we're still working through, but
Who keeps them out when they're banned? Do the librarians at the desk have to?
well, basically, yeah, we need to like get, you know who they are and have a photo, so.
But then do they have to throw them out?
Well, it usually doesn't.
You
come
let
to
them
but you
know
let
that
them
they
know
are
they need to leave.
suspended
Yeah,
until
Suspended for a
whatever
certain amount of
date.
time.
you know, and
And
that
so
they,
they leave or you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, the police can have backed up our
yeah,
staff
if we need to,
before
the
and
police
they
can come,
do.
you know.
So at a staff
Often-
meeting or something, you talk about it, everybody knows
yeah,
about
everybody
it,
knows.
yeah.
And the staff often come to the director. I've been here
Mhm.
many a time when the staff come to the director for her to.
Yeah.
Cause
Right on the
now
bad
it's
and
the
black.
grand marshal. He's even tougher.
Bringing the heat.
Right. And Mary Jo does a really good job with
Oh,
these
yeah.
kids. I've witnessed how she
Pleasant but
handles
firm.
them. So the library is a blessing to the community for
Oh, yeah.
this.
It's just
To
hard,
have a
anytime
place.
if you have 60 of us in our building, you know, you're gonna have the noise, what level is going to go up, so anytime you have that many kids in the building, you know, it's gonna be a loud, kind of exuberant atmosphere, and it's just, so it's just a matter of like reminding, you know.
One of our staff,
So,
one of our staff was talking, there was a patron, some of our adult patrons get a little, you know, is a barrier or a problem. And I heard one of our staff talking to them, first of all, the main time for this problem, it is something, if you really want to avoid it, just don't come to the library during that right after school hours, because it's not all the time. But the other is that our staff responded really, I was really impressed with her. She said, well, we'd rather have them here than have them other places, and the community would. We're really providing a community service by having as robust an after-school
A safe place to gather.
activity, a
It's a safe
safe
place to
place
be,
for them to
absolutely,
gather, and they
so.
can socialize. It's just it is an added for our staff to
Nobody
be able
has
to deal with
some of
them.
the same issue because they're very close to their high
they're
school.
across the street, I mean, they're like practically share a parking lot, you know.
Yeah, and so they get inundated after, they hired somebody they called the teen whisperer who would keep kids busy and engaged
Yeah.
after school.
So with
Yeah.
actual activities?
Yeah, I mean, they would put out games and.
Oh, okay.
And we do some of that,
Yeah.
you know, especially on the half days, you know, we
Oh,
try to.
yeah.
We make sure.
In Stockbridge, Michigan, the school board rented a closed store in downtown Stockbridge for the kids to socialize after school. And there's teachers there to just so kids socialize. All they have at the high school, if you're involved in sports or clubs, that's the one thing. But to get together and just like meet in the cafeteria and talk and socialize, they don't have that.
Yeah.
And this is their
That's great.
social area.
And
You know, but I understand, I mean, you know, they've been in school all day, you know, you wanna be able to.
Yeah,
Relax
that's
a lot.
the only time they can really socialize at school is during lunch hour. That's why
Which
it's
is
so
very
noisy.
short, it's like lunch
And it's
15
very
minutes.
noisy. You know,
But we're especially interested in the actual things that are, you know, like trying to vape in the bathrooms and some of those types of.
Across
Oh, yeah.
Westland,
Issues, so.
school thing, so
Oh,
his was only.
With Mary Jo's report, you also have the usual flyers about programs. And I want to mention, Linda will chime in too. This Phil Hale is the same jazz artist who came here in October, I think it was. So he's coming back in January 10th. And I know a number of my friends said, oh, I wish I would have known. So I think spreading.
There were a lot of
he
people
did a
that
wonderful
night.
job, and
excellent
the
program,
beautiful
yeah.
thing about it, it's a mixed crowd.
Yeah,
It was
we had a
really
good
cool.
time. We
Really-
really did
really
have,
good.
those of
I
us who
hope
were
he
there.
brings all the same people, because they were so
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, he'll probably
Highly,
bring, you
highly
know,
recommend.
he seems to be connected to the jazz. There's
Big
an
jazz
active
community.
jazz community.
Yeah.
There was even a guy from Belleville that's.
Paul
in that
Keller?
jazz community. No, it was another guy that he came up afterwards.
Oh,
Oh, is that the, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Other musicians. So I would be surprised if it's exactly the same people, but I wouldn't be disturbed if it was,
So
but they
I'm
were
sure
great.
he's got a lot to choose from.
But he probably does bring in different people to bring on, but it's wonderful that we're establishing this relationship because we really enjoyed it, and I hope that all of you talk it up among your friends. And have, that we have, in addition to youth programming and all this other, and to our book clubs and all those, we have other kinds of programming that can make people enjoy their community even more. We have a jazz date that doesn't cost. Any other things?
I think that's all I
Storylines are in here.
Making candy sushi.
Yeah,
That is interesting.
there you go. Well, now it's time for the board members to talk. Who wants to start?
Pick the old guy, pick the old guy.
Pick the old guy. Well, I think that must be John. John, what do you want to
I'm
say?
really impressed. So far, we had 59,000 visitors come through our library with 108,000 books or things checked out. That's really impressive compared to the old library we had that was in the parking lot. Also, as Rosemary said, we had a meeting this week with the planning commission of Belleville, Sumter, and Van Buren. And I happened to be on, at one time, I was also on the Van Buren Planning Commission. Now I'm on the Belleville Planning Commission. And years ago, and they repeated this so many times, that they want downtown Belleville as the downtown for all three communities. And right now, we've got it made because we got a brand new street, Main Street, got a brand new high school, got a brand new library, got a brand new shopping center, and the museum is open. So it's perfect for that. And they all recognize that to a point where they want to have a meeting every 6 months of all the groups.
That would
So
be a
we're getting
good
closer
idea.
together.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, John. Who's next? It is self-choose Tanya.
So I'm actually excited to see that our circulation department head Lindsay is getting her master's, so she's continuing her library journey. So that's exciting. Glad she's so dedicated, committed to
She's a gem. That is good. And, yeah, the staffing reports that, Mary Jo has provided with us, and of course, relating to the conversation we just had, will be this, library monitor position. Maybe we should call it a teen whisperer, I don't know.
I like the-
But we're actively in that process, and this is a good time for us to really be looking at it, because we can see that's a place we're gonna have to put some of our attention. Who's next, Linda?
I'd just like to say, every time I come, I'm greeted so nicely when I walk in the door, and I think they do that with everybody.
Yeah.
I think they stop what they're doing, no matter, they don't keep their heads down, they look up and they go, hi, welcome, can I help you? I mean, it's really nice, so just want to say kudos to you for encouraging that. And I think it really shows that people feel welcome. And then I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas before we leave, so.
Yeah, we didn't
Because it won't
we
be,
didn't bring a party. What's wrong with us?
probably all on diets, I know I
I
am.
don't know.
I don't have so many parties.
So, I don't know, I was thinking about it, I was driving over, it was a little late start.
I almost brought something and I thought nobody can eat it anyway, so I'm not bringing it.
Thank you, Linda.
I was gonna say what Tanya said about, library employees are some of the best folks to become librarians.
Mhm.
You know, they've worked it, they see how they see what's involved, and I'm one of those.
And they're smart too. So many
Really.
Jeopardy champions are librarians.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said that there's yeah, the Claire Castle.
Yeah,
Who's
she
back?
used to work for us at the CERT desk and she's left us for another job, but she's going to library school, and so we hired her as an intern, so.
Well, good.
I've got
Yeah,
two
yeah.
She's going back to
Library
pursue the
students.
masters and then Lindsay. So
We
good for
really
us.
want to keep these good people that we have.
Yeah. And I know that our administration has been encouraging staff, especially some of our really good, strong staff, to consider furthering their education in this area, but we have a really good mix and a good staff. We're really fortunate. So that leaves us with Dan.
So
And Al.
I think our marketing, worked out really well. We got Mary Jo into the parade, so, you know, that was the best thing that we could possibly ask for, is to have her out front, leading the charge. And I had a little conversation with Mary Jo about this even last week. I'm just echoing what Linda said, you know, sometimes when you have openings in a business or a job, you have to pick from the pool of people that you know, you have available to you. But somehow, some way, we've been able to get some really, really good, talented, nice people to work here. So.
And we have people from all over the area
Yeah,
that come to work here, so.
so it's just, I think it speaks pretty well for the people that are hiring these folks to come and work at this library.
And the kind of climate that we have here.
Yeah.
I think it's very
Yeah.
congenial.
Right. Because I'm sure they have many choices of where they probably like to go to work, so. And I'd also like to wish everybody a nice holiday, and hope everybody gets some downtime and can relax and doesn't overeat.
Yes. Very tempting.
Too many cookies.
I bought peppermint bark at Costco.
Oh, yeah, you buy one jar, especially Costco is so big and, anyway. Well, now, Alma. You have to volunteer because you're bringing up the rear. And we always have to interrupt her to get her to bring up what she wants to talk about.
Not really a whole lot, just wanted to wish everyone happy holidays, because we won't meet until after the holidays. It'll be our next meeting.
And I want to say peace on earth, if only.
That is a huge prayer, which we really need this
Yes.
season.
You do.
Well, thank you, trustees. It is time, my comments, I wanna extend what we talked about a little earlier. I think you all know I write a little column in the newsletter. And I guess so, last week or 10 days ago, anyway, it was before Friday. I wrote the newsletter comments. One of the things that's most gratifying to me is to see that our library is, remember when we were promoting the idea and getting people to engage, we talked about the library as something for everyone. And it's a place where there's activities and welcoming for all age groups. And to be able, it's so gratifying to really see that here. And I have been so happy to see so many young people taking advantage of our library. It's very energizing, but also you can, there are days, especially days when maybe a half day of school, or if there's something going on at school, it's really noticeable, like if it's a game day, so they get out of school and a lot of them come over here and wait, so they go back for a game. So I brought up, that's what I wrote on, that was a topic kind of that I built. I talked about the different kind of programs that we're gonna have in the library for all age groups, and about the intergenerational nature of our library and how we all have to work together and be tolerant and encouraging parents to take a role. I really think it is a message that as board members, we can all take and all help out our administration by raising awareness in our town. And I think we should let the town know we are providing a real service for the town to provide a place, a safe place for our young people to gather. But we can't do it all by ourselves, so it is gonna take some cooperation, and I'm glad to see that, I'm not surprised to see that Mary Jo has already made some of these connections, but I think we can help. Just think about it as you're talking with people, how you might be able to contribute to helping us keep a very healthy environment here. And it is going to require the engagement of parents. They're not going to just be able to say, oh, well, I'm safe, my kid's over at the library. They need to really talk to their kids about how they behave in the library. So when I had just finished that article not too long ago, when I got the news from Mary Jo that we were having that, and this was probably this is the biggest incident. I think we've had isolated incidents and we've talked about them in here, but I think this activity out here in the parking lot was our biggest one. We don't want to have it. We don't want to have repeats. So. So I think all of us might want to just be aware and engaged and help out with our staff in any way that we can. And sometimes just being here and walking around and observing and sharing back with Mary Jo and her staff is a good thing to do. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. There's lots of holidays for lots of folks that we all want to encourage, and we're celebrating them here in this building. I doubt that this will be the last time this year that the people around this table are in this building, but it is going to be the last time we're in here together. So thank you so much for the service for this past year and the continuing service. And this is a pretty good gig. The pay may not be so hot, but the rewards are wonderful.
Yes, so one more thing.
Okay, you certainly
Say
can.
congratulations to our Belleville High School for
Yeah,
doing an outstanding job.
for the football team.
Football team.
Yeah, that football
Wow.
team is known all over the place now, and the quarterback is the How does that
Michigan athletic.
athlete of the year.
Here.
Yeah. It's put Belleville, that's definitely putting Belleville on the map, that football team.
Like the #1 recruit in the country too. if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
I really enjoyed it. I watched that
It's not a
game.
senior, right?
No, he's a junior.
No, he's
Junior.
still a
Got one more
junior.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, but that game at Ford Field was on, there's some station, we finally found it, and I was able to watch. It was really quite an exciting game.
Yeah.
And it was, people were surprised because Belleville was expected to win and Belleville came back and it really made it quite an exciting finish, even if it didn't finish the way we were kind of hoping, but I think our team
It
is
won the
really.
last 2 years, we can't get greedy.
Right, and they have established themselves as the best.
They have.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, John.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
It's been moved,
I'll second that.
is
motion.
supported all the way around. Meeting is adjourned.